Good morrow, my thrifty strangers. Welcome to my crafty handed world and my treasure picker series. I moved into this slightly oversized and considerably dilapidating house almost 15 years ago, and there are still places I haven't even crawled through, like this attic, where I recently discovered a bunch of god-forsaken stuff. I know, there is a super cute antique slut in the background, but with the summer approaching, I will tackle whatever this thing is first. Most people would be contemplating how to conveniently transport it into the nearest dumpster, but not me. I dragged it outside to take a closer look at it. And it's an old folding lounge. And the wood is hard and solid. Easy fix. I can just picture it under my banana palm. So let's jump into it. After a quick dust off, I moved on to removing the decaying upholstery and all the rusty nails. I think that was the nastiest, most tedious job ever. I was making a big effort to pull out all the nails, but once in a while there was a stubborn one that just needed a wild smack with a hammer instead. And just when you think you are done, you flip the launch and find another zillion nails holding down the webbing. Oh, there goes another hour. Okay, this part is even more insane than removing the fabric. I might seem a bit careless about denting the wood, but hey, it's just a garden launch. When I'm finally done with my Cinderella work, separating the nails from the webbing, it's time to deep clean the wood frame. And removing the dust was at the top of the list. Decades thick layers of old dust. Yuck. All the hardware holding the thing together was rusty and stuck. I had to soak it with WD-40 to loosen up the nuts and bolts before being able to remove them. Under normal conditions, I would go to a hardware store and buy new ones. But then again, the stores at this end of the world have such a limited selection that they would most likely not carry this particular type or size of bolts. So it seemed faster and easier to clean and reuse them. The perfect solution for this is 1 to 2 teaspoons of household citric acid dissolved in 2/3 of a cup of hot water. Remember to degrease the hardware first if it's been sprayed with WD-40. I let it soak in the jar while I'll continue working on the frame. I started by lightly sanding it with 240 grit sandpaper to loosen the more stubborn dirt and smooth out the little dings I made. Then I wiped the frame off with warm, soapy water and a soft rag. After a bucket or two of black water, I was done, and I let the wood dry thoroughly. The wood actually dried a bit too much, so I'm using my favorite mahogany oil stain to nourish it. It penetrates the wood deeply and leaves a beautifully silky, soft finish. I wiped off any excess unsoaked stain with a soft lint-free cloth. And it looks like my hardware is ready. It might have lost some shine, but it definitely lost all the rust, which is great. I rinse the parts with clean water and dry them with a paper towel. Then I condition them with WD-40 so they wouldn't start rusting right back. Time for promising progress. Let's start putting things back together. Luckily, I took careful note of how the parts went together. The legs seemed a bit confusing. Wow, what a difference! Now, to stretch the new webbing. Okay, let's not rush too much. My OCD is calling for measuring tape and precise spacing. I'm using a small staple gun rather than upholstery nails. It's easier to stretch the webbing with one hand and staple it with the other. To stretch the webbing, I'm using my handmade stretcher. I'll leave the link for you somewhere around when the stretcher making video is up. I'm stretching the webbing just tight enough not to warp the frame. And when I'm piercing the webbing, I'm intentionally going between the threads, not to damage them. As the day is coming to an end and the sun is starting to go down, I moved my webbing project up to the back terrace to enjoy the last sun rays. I want to thank you all for being here with me today, dear strangers. I hope you enjoy my assorted projects, and if you do, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to give me a little support, I run on Ko-fi. Thank you. I guess I couldn't help myself. I found it necessary to secure the webbing strength with some upholstery nails after all. The next day, I started by taking measurements for the upholstery. The first layer will be the dust cover, as it cannot be placed from the bottom of the lounge due to the folding legs. I'm using a natural 100% cotton calico fabric and adding a couple of inches extra for the folds. I like to start stretching it and attaching it with the staple gun from the center out and crosswise. It helps me prevent wrinkles. And when I'm done, I cut off any excess material. I'm using a 1-inch foam I have left over from a previous project. It's not a problem that it's shorter. I will extend it using a foam glue and nobody will ever know, except you. I aligned both edges to be glued and sandwiched them between the cardboard so I can spray the glue just where it needs to go. After a couple of minutes, the glue gets tacky and is ready to be glued. And with a little help, I got both pieces aligned and glued straight. Wonderful! I think I forgot to mention, I cut the foam a couple of inches larger to soften the hard bench edges. The next layer is the quilt padding, and I'm adding about 3 inches from each side so I can fold it over the edges of the frame. I position the batting evenly over the foam and fold over 1/2 so I can glue it more easily. I'm attaching it with the contact glue again with a little help from my mom. The last layer is a very durable outdoor lounge chair fabric, which I acquired to match my foldable lounge chairs that I restored a while back. The design is perfect for my tropical garden decor. I cut the fabric large enough so I can wrap it around to the bottom of the frame and fold it under for tidy edges. After aligning all the layers, I cut off the corners of the padding to reduce bulk. Then I proceed to stretch and staple the upholstery fabric to the bottom edge of the frame. I prefer to shoot the first staples down sideways, not all the way in, so they can be adjusted or removed as needed as the stretching progresses. The corners are a bit tricky, and this is my way of doing them. If you have a different way, that's cool. Whatever works. I first fold the fabric over the corner and secure the fold with a couple of staples. Oh no, I'm not left-handed. I'm just struggling so you can see better. Then, I carefully cut off some excess fabric to reduce bulk. If you are not confident, cut less at first. Remember, you can always cut more later. I also cut off the underfold so I can miter the corners. I'll leave it this way for now and come back to it later. When I have the whole fabric stretched, I go over it one more time and check for wrinkles and inaccuracies, and I adjust it where it doesn't sit right, like here. At last, I come back to the corners and straighten up the miters. Then, I finished stapling all around, filling any unstapled spots. And it's done! Beautiful! Another fun weekend project. I think it came out rather nicely. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now, if I only had time to enjoy my lounge chairs and relax. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.